Jay-Z has addressed the haters in his newest concert that he did. I think they call it the Reasonable Doubt concert and everything. And yeah, man, before we get started, it's your boy Klasic from Klasic Live. I'm a music producer / content creator. Work with the likes of 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Kid Ink, will.i.am, Young Buck, so many different people, man. I got my co-host with me, OG Corndog, in the building. Before we get started, I'm going to need y'all to do two things, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Whatever you got to do on whatever platform that you're watching and stuff, make sure you get us in the algorithm and show us some love. Now, for those that didn't know, Jay-Z had a concert or have a concert that he's performing at the stadium, I think for 3 nights. And on the first night that he performed, he showed that he cut his dreadlocks. That was a little marketing thing between him and Beyonce. Beyonce was chopping off his dreads. Now he got the old school, Jay-Z fade. And he did another freestyle. Now, people saying in the freestyle he was taking jabs at Colin Kaepernick for taking a deal. And people are saying that Jay-Z basically exposed himself for being a hypocrite for taking a deal with Target. Now, why would that be a big issue? A lot of people was into boycotting Target because, for the main reason that they was dropping the whole DEI program that's going along with Target. And we had certain social figures saying that, you should stop working with Target because they're taking away Black people items and stuff. But they still was selling Black people items like this lady Tabitha Brown. Her product was still in Target being sold, but people were saying, hey, Target isn't right because of the whole DEI stuff, that they shouldn't be taking that away. And that caused a lot of controversy for the sellers that are actually Black in there. And matter of fact, let me look this up real quick. When it comes to DEI, a lot of people have the misconception that it only pertains to Black people. Now, is DEI only for Black people? It says no. Diversity, equity, basically equality and inclusion is not just for Black people. DEI frameworks apply to a wide range of groups, including women, LGBTQ plus individuals, veterans, and people with disabilities. So if you see that, that it's not limited to just a race thing, but a lot of people want to say that it's only limited to race. Now, out of those group of people, you can break down and choose who you want to choose as far as who would you think get the job first? A woman, a man, somebody from the LGBTQ plus community? That's up to you to decide. But we know that there's a hierarchy to where in certain job fields, certain people will get hired before other people. But for some reason, when Charlie Kirk mentioned this, it becomes a racial thing and he don't like Black people or whatever it is. But I think it's bigger than that. Also, another thing, when it comes to, let's say the group Black Lives Matter. Now, I believe the sentiment Black Lives Matter, that is true. But when you look at the organization and who is running the organization, you might think differently of it. And this is the headline of Black Lives Matter removes language about disrupting the nuclear family from the website. Because when they first had their mission statement, they were saying that they was here for, to have women and women and men households over the nuclear family unit, which is a man and a woman. So right. That could spark a lot of controversy within itself. So I think we have to get educated in knowing the things that we actually promote and push. And now that Jay-Z is doing some business with Target, people are calling him a sellout. So the question is Jay-Z really a sellout for doing this, or is he a capitalist? And in my opinion, from some of the stuff that I'm seeing, it looked like he's being a capitalist. He see an opportunity and he's going for it. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of us are more capitalists compared to whatever the opposite of that. I don't want to say a socialist or whatever, or communist, whatever. But the thing is, I think we're more capitalistic than we think. When we see like the same thing with this YouTube stuff, we see hot stories that's going on, we're talking about it. We're not talking about stuff that people don't really care to hear about because we know that it will draw in the viewers and we can have a good conversation about it. If we talk about things that nobody want to talk about, then it won't go anywhere. So we just have to really look at each other and see who is really doing things for self-gain. And I think a lot of people do that. Now, Corny, like, what's your thoughts about this whole situation, bro?
I mean, when you when you was mentioning, is Jay-Z being a capitalist or yeah, and that's the first thing I thought of. Yeah, because doing that pertains to business. You know what I'm saying? And he told us, he a businessman. You know what I'm saying? He's a businessman. So we get that part of being a capitalist, and plus he's rubbing a lot of shoulders with a lot of people that's got money just like him. And he started from the bottom. I remember Sophie Boy or the Hawaiian Sophie Boy. I remember that way back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Like before he was Jay-Z. I forgot what his name was, but we know the story of how he got his name anyway. From probably the person that made that video, Jazzo.
Jazzo.
Yeah, and when it comes to business, of course, that's being a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in the same room with the type of people that they looking for that opportunity, and you are too, and you guys having to meet and network. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the game is played in America when it comes to business. Excuse me. The look recent concert he did. It's not over yet, is it? It's already over. The 3-day concert up at the stadium.
The first day was. I think the first day was yesterday.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Good to see him come back. Tell you the truth. Keep us old heads alive. You know what I'm saying? Keep us relevant. Let us know we can still do this. I like that part of the game right there to see him come back into the field. This latest controversy that's what's going on. I mean, why are people coming after him in the first place? Because of what? The Target thing?
Some
that's basically that's what it is.
Like, to be honest with you, they've been on his head for multiple things. Like when Diddy went down, they were saying Jay-Z is next. So overall, a lot of people really don't like Jay-Z for, I guess, the character. Simple.
Okay, how long you been doing business with Target?
This is new to me, bro. Like I don't think it's been that long.
Oh, so this is recent then. And
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I get what you're saying now because us people as one, as when we protest, we sure do make a difference because when we stood up against Target, they felt that. They felt the backlash. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, the DEI thing, you know what I'm saying? You say if it's applied just to black people, no, it doesn't, because that's not what it was created for. You know what I'm saying? This is just a clean, official way of saying affirmative action in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? That's, civil rights, all that. It's basically a anti-discrimination bill. You know what I mean? So you look at it that way, you can't just pertain it towards just black people. Just because we're the ones that fought for it is the reason why it came out to be what it is. Because we fought for it with the civil rights. You know what I mean?
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but
go ahead.
I like that you said that because it's crazy how we fight for certain things, but it's not exclusive just for us. Any and everybody else can jump aboard and benefit from it. But
right. Well, that's because we put it into their face for a logical sense to everyone in America that it doesn't just pertain to our civil rights as black people, because there's a category of people and class of people in America that's known as we're in that class. So it'd be against civil rights when it comes to um, racial prejudice. You know what I'm saying? In the work field, or just in day to day life. You know what I mean? So Martin Luther King. Without him, who knows if that would have been a bill that would have been signed ever, or if we would have had those rights today. You know, it's something to think about right there. But like you said, with us fighting for it as a people, everybody else gained from it. You know what I'm saying? That's because we've been going through the struggle the longest. You know what I mean? It's upfront to everyone because you don't see the ones that get kept down. That's in the class of us. You don't see them out there like that. We at that time, in the '60s. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a hard line to push. And we did that. We stood up. We showed America. We was on TV in the '60s protesting. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably why a lot of people protest today, because of that reason right there. And it's a right in America to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's an official right of all Americans. Yes, you can protest. And which is funny because the way they handle protesters these days, they look at them as if they're, troublemakers. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's not all about. Now, you got a couple of bad, you know, C's in the bag. You know what I'm saying? So that shit's gonna happen. But it ain't like everybody's like that. With Jay-Z, I mean, shit, I can't be really mad at him. You know, just because of a business deal with Target. Um, that man is a businessman. He's trying to handle business accordingly. You know what I'm saying? He's in the whole new level of money now. You know what I'm saying? It's not just hip hop, even though that's where he come from. So he's in a whole new league, a whole something we don't know nothing about when it comes to handling business. And I get the point where everybody's saying like, "Yo, don't forget where you come from. Why are you doing these deals when we already protest against this?" You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, who knows? Because there was a lot of talk about him way back in the days. I don't know if people even forgot about it. I don't think they forgot about it, but my man up there like this, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, who knows? I mean, I'm no conspiracy theorist like that, but mm, that might have some play in it. You never know.
Yeah, man. The reason why I kind of say it made me think about the whole Cristal situation, and when they made a comment as far as they didn't like the promotion of a certain group of people mentioning Cristal in their videos and promoting Cristal a drink. Basically, they were saying like, "Hey, we don't need your advertisement. If anything, y'all gonna make us be cheaper as a brand, and we don't want y'all associating with us." So what did Jay-Z do? He went to the next people and went to go promote Ace of Spades. So who was the main person benefiting from that? That was Jay-Z. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it seems like he is standing up for us, but then at the same time, it seemed like he has his own self-gain that he's going to be the main one profiting from it. It's no different than a lot of these people, just like Pastor Jamal Bryant. He was one of the guys that was saying that we needed to protest Target. And, Pastor Jamal Bryant, he has his own things that's going on that isn't cool, like as far as the infidelity with the first lady and to his old wife, him talking shit about Kevin Samuels when he passed. Just because you're a pastor doesn't mean that you're a holy man. A lot of people get into that field because they know the money that they can get from people. And it's crazy how certain people be taking money every week from the congregation, and they have these old grannies hopping on a bus just to get there while you leaving in your Bentley or getting money for a plane and shit like that. So a lot of these people that have these certain titles, you know, they use these titles just like the word family, friend. A lot of people use that just to mask over a lot of the bullshit that they try to do. So, you know, I just kind of find it ironic that, you know, now is the time that people been having their disdain for Jay-Z, but now it seems like people are becoming very vocal about it. So let's get into this video by Trap Lord Ross, man. He covered this, and let's see what he got to say, man.
All right.
Let's check it out. Let's go.
They might put the jig down for at least one night, perhaps 2 more nights, because all right, folks, so the jig is definitely up, but okay, it seems like they might have put the jig down for at least one night, perhaps 2 more nights, because Jay-Z is hitting the first night of his legendary 3-night run at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx in New York City, and he is touching the stage. He's proven to everybody in the world that he's not an old head no more, right? His knees still work. He can still pop it, okay? He can still remember the lyrics to some of them songs that are damn near 20, 30 years old, right? He has definitely blown the dust off of his plaques, and it was a very interesting display. So I'm going to break it all down to you in this video, but for me, I feel like it's a little bit... he's just a little bit past it at this point, okay? It's a little bit, he creaking at the knees a little bit, if you ask me. But it was very interesting to observe. And, you know, he rolled out another freestyle with no beat under it. This one was a little bit strained. It didn't go as crazy as the last one. And a lot of people are feeling like, come on, man, like the jig is up. Let's just move on, all right? Let's just get him into the nursing home and, you know, get back to what these kids are listening to. Some people feel that way, other people don't. But I'm going to break it down to you in this video with a little dose of humor, right? Let's not take everything so goddamn seriously all the time. So it all started off, all right? It all started off with Beyonce shaving off his hair. Now, some people think this is fake, okay? Apparently, Jay-Z's got a habit of changing up his hairstyle for, you know, big moments in his career.
How's it going to be fake?
Like that. And apparently it kicked off, okay? I hope I don't get copyright striked for even sharing this history. But Jay-Z basically got his head shaved by Beyonce in the bleachers in what looked like a pre-recorded segment. Look at this.
For fuck's sake, cut!
Oh, chill.
He said, look at this. Oh, they did that live at the concert?
No, that was pre-recorded.
Oh, okay. Oh, he in the bleachers.
Yeah.
Oh, before the show. Before the show.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, you know what I'm saying? We got the first episode of Shaving Sean Carter. Okay, it was pretty interesting. But then came his freestyle, another beatless freestyle. All right, that a lot of people felt like this maybe was some of the offcuts from the first freestyle that he dropped. Because he dropped that Roots Picnic freestyle, no beat, all right, some kind of disjointed bars, not really quite on beat. I don't know if you can keep on beat these days, but he kind of, you know, addressed some of the Sellout allegations, and I thought this was ironic because I'm not going to lie, these bars were lame. All right, these were lame as hell. These were kind of embarrassing. I likened this in something I said. This is like some Krusty the Clown ass bars. Like, yeah, I sold out. I sold out the stadium. Like, yeah, you did. You did sell out. And then he kind of backtracks about the target. I'm a target. They all targets. It's kind of like, but like, you're going to address what was actually going on. Like, the community was meant to be boycotting Target, and you just kind of deflecting. It was kind of razzle dazzle to deflect people from the fact that he doesn't really seem to live by the principles that he's extolled and have got him to this point in his career.
Yeah, I sold out. Yeah, I did sell. They say I sold out. Yeah, I did sell out. 3 nights. I sold Yankee Stadium the hell out.
Like, he thought he did something. He like, yeah, I killed that shit. They said I sold out. Yeah, I sold the stadium out. Like, bro, that's some clapped out old bars, bro. Come on. He dropped a bomb on that one. There's quite a lot of bars where it's like he has these sort of mic drop moments, and it's like the crowd don't really react. He's kind of like, okay, next bar.
I'm a target. Hey, don't miss that target. No exclusive. They only doing what Apple and Walmart did.
So he said, I'm a target, no exclusive. They only doing what Apple and Walmart did. And it's like, yeah. No, it seems like you did have an exclusive with Target while the black community was boycotting them. And you kind of went around them for corporate reasons, and then you backtracked and pretended it didn't happen after the fact. Like that you know what I'm saying? Like, can you explain why you're not a sellout again? Because I don't really understand. Sounds like you're a sellout and a backtracker.
You shopping at Amazon or Apple and Walmart? You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posted on Instagram? That's meta, boy. Stop it.
I mean, yeah, he said you buying on Amazon, you supposed to be boycotting, you buying on Instagram, that's meta, boy, stop it. Ain't we supposed to be boycotting meta? Ain't we supposed to be? Well, the point is that you went around the community, you went around the boycott that was going on with Target. It's kind of like, yo, but everybody else is using Instagram. It's like, these aren't owns, these aren't big, big clapbacks. These are kind of.
Okay, so the thing is that they tripping over the fact that Jay-Z partnered with Target for an exclusive 30th anniversary vinyl release of his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. And it's a double LP priced at $40, alternative packaging, and unreleased tracks. The physical released on June 26th. So this is something that happened recently, and people don't like the fact that he's partnering with Target, but previously, like, the thing is, like, wasn't that whole boycott of Target and stuff, wasn't that like last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I would say, about a year and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah, so I didn't know that people were still boycotting Target. Like, the thing is that I don't know if boycotting Target is the right thing if we're still talking about the DEI stuff, because you do, like, Target do have black owned businesses inside of Target that's selling items, and if you boycott Target altogether, you're boycotting black businesses at the same time too. So I don't know about that, bro. Like what's your thoughts, man?
I mean, I wasn't all into that, the boycotting thing. And, I don't shop at Target like that anyway. That's my girl. She do that type of shit. So, that's not no place. Oh, I got to go to Target. Like, I'm not thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't give a shit where people shop or who they protest against, unless it's something serious, when it comes to the community, like, the recent things, like, no Asian markets. Hate to say it, but that's the recent thing that's going on.
What? Oh yeah.
Ling Ling ain't she out of business right now? Ain't nobody going to get their nails done, feet work, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. That part I get. You know what I'm saying? Let's make a statement right now. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy that did that was a store owner. Okay? And we done seen this too many times already in the neighborhood. So we'll quietly protest, and then you will feel our pain. So I get that. But when it comes to, stuff like this, like, man, I don't care where Jay-Z sell his album. You know what I'm saying? And because people they ain't out there to go get physical copies anymore. We're in the digital world. You know what I mean? But I would like to have it for, like, just for memorabilia, or something posted up in the back like I got back here and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But $40, I ain't going to buy that shit.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I really believe that the boycott should be something serious, like the whole Rick Child situation. We've seen that for so long, of how they treat us, how they take our dollars and then treat us like shit. So I understand that, but this whole boycott stuff with Target, hopefully some more information get broken down with this, but at this point right now, I don't stand with the boycott, what they talking about and shit like that. I think it's kind of frivolous, because you're still harming black businesses inside of Target. If Target said, hey, we're not having no black businesses at all, then I can understand you boycotting, but as of right now, I don't understand it. So shit, let's keep it moving, G.
Like, kind of like wriggling out of situations that you created kind of bothers to me. And the next one's definitely one of those.
Y'all know Google on YouTube. Y'all know Google on YouTube. You picking and choosing and politicking as usual.
I don't know. He's saying Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing, politicking as usual. Now, I don't know if, like, I don't think YouTube was getting boycotted. Like, was there ever a? Not that I'm aware of that there was a boycott of YouTube. I mean, was there a black community boycott of Amazon, Meta? I mean, it was a Target thing. The thing was about Target, right? He talking about. Apparently, there was a boycott against Amazon because they were rolling back DEI initiatives. But it's kind of like, yeah, like you ain't doing business with Amazon, like you doing business with Target, and they was getting boycotted. So it's like people saying, "What the hell is he talking about?" I'm just rambling. All right, maybe that haircut was the source of his powers in the last freestyle because he got a haircut before this one, and then it ain't really hit him.
They digging deep, but nowadays it's embarrassing. They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again.
He said they're getting deeper nowadays. They running out of characters, had to bring up Kaepernick. He doesn't address the fact that, like, he said, we passed kneeling. Forget about BLM, all the boycotting the NFL. I'm trying to get this bag from the NFL. He said they bringing up Kaepernick. And what he's about to say is basically Kaepernick signed a settlement with the NFL and, you know, signed a non-disparagement that he couldn't talk about them. And that's it. He's saying, like, that's why Kaepernick can't even say anything bad about him. But it's like, you said you ain't really explain. This doesn't explain it. Like, you said we was past kneeling. I don't really even care. I think the boycott's like ain't really gonna do nothing. You know, people have been getting on me in the comments. Like, oh, you caping for black people. I really don't care. I just feel like this is lame. It doesn't really address any of the critiques that were actually going up against him.
Bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, got to sign a non-disparity. I'm the one they can't control.
Websites your competitors don't want you to know. Part 2. All you do is go to this
Oh.
website.
Okay, check it out. Now, the Colin Kaepernick, and I'm more of a basketball head, but football, you know, I seen what was going on with the Colin Kaepernick situation. Now, for him to be protesting and then take a deal, and within that deal, it says that you can't talk shit about us no more. Is that a form of selling out, or did he accomplish his mission? Because what was the main reason why Colin Kaepernick was taking the knee? Was it because the pay of NFL players, or just the police brutality of what's been going on in the current atmosphere?
Nah, it was the way he was raised, and his surroundings, environment that he was in, that made him do that. There's his story, you know, San Jose, California.
Yeah,
he was saying it was pretty much racial in that town. He was a football player in high school. The coaches would be racial towards him. College, same thing. You know what I'm saying? So he was going through it. He was living that. So when it got to when he wanted to take a stand in the NFL, he didn't take a stand. He took a knee. And he only did that out of protest to way black people be treated in America. And he was only doing it when the anthem, America's, you know, the national anthem was being played. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So that was him doing that. Now, I really get that because I remember when I was in junior high school, and I used to give my history teachers a hard time because they really didn't want to stay on the subject of slavery. And then when they did touch on the subject of slavery, it would get pretty rough in the room because I had a lot of questions. You know, because I already know, I read the story already, and I got tired of hearing it. You know what I mean? So when it came up, I'm asking questions and I'm making them feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So when they see me doing that, and then it's homeroom time, and you know, national anthem or preamble, or you know, you're supposed to pledge allegiance. I would sit down, and they would tell me to stand up and put my hand over my heart. Now, I get the part that, you know, this is how I felt at that time because of the history I had to read at a young age. I already done figured it out at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys that. I'll stand up, but I'm not putting my hand over my heart. And that was just from me, just being a black kid in a room full of white kids. You know what I'm saying? So that was just me doing that. But I later learned to come in life that, what it was all about. You know what I mean? And that was just me showing my peers how I felt about the subject of slavery. You know what I'm saying? It was just me being a rebellious teenager. You feel me? Let's put it to you like that.
Yeah.
Now, I can see the same thing that he did in the NFL. It's the same thing. I get that. You know what I'm saying? They came down hard on him, and he was just getting started in his football career. I ain't gonna say just getting started because he kind of made a name for himself at that time. The year before, he was like on point. You know what I'm saying? He came in and took over San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard to see him go, and it was like, I ain't gonna say hard to see him go, but like shocking to see him go out like that. You know what I'm saying? Not just because of the money, he just said he was a good player.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that. Yeah. I thought he had a future. I honestly really thought he had a future, dude.
Man, fuck all that. So is he selling out for taking the money, or that's just part of the game? Because from what I'm seeing, it's saying that the reason why he was taking the deal was to protest racial inequality, police brutality, and systematic oppression. Now, for you to, speak on all that, honestly, ain't shit changed. He didn't get no laws passed, or like, did they change any rules in the NFL? I don't think so. Like, so at the end,
okay. You said, okay, did he sell out or did he reach his main goal? What was his goal? Because you saying that he can't say nothing about him with the deal that they gave him, right?
Yeah.
Which means he lost right there. Now, especially if they give you this, I don't know. I don't think he announced how much he got paid through the settlement. I mean, is that announced too? Because
I don't think so.
Okay, well, for the amount of money for a nigga to shut up, it's gonna have to be a lot. Okay, you understand that part? You see what I'm saying? The man was already protesting, right? Now they want him to shut up. Then they say, okay, we got this money for you to shut the fuck up. And he looked at that shit and said, okay. I ain't saying nothing else. Right? So did he win? It don't sound like he won. Because I personally, he didn't win for his personal belief. No.
If your message is being it's like they're hurting us. Hey, take this money. Okay, I can't speak on this, so I'm not keeping people aware of what's going on. Because if he's talking about what's happening, the shit is still happening to this day, and he just shut it up. Because let's say, and the crazy part about it is, I see why they don't disclose that. Because what if he sold out, quote unquote, for 10 million, 15 million? Some people assume it'd be like, man, he must have got like 300, 400 million type shit. But what if it's been 2 million?
I know. So, but you could be right because they bled his pockets. You know what I'm saying?
He can't work in the NFL no more.
Right. So that was his job. Now he ain't got no other way to make money. What else can he do? And what if it was 5 million? He was like, fuck, I ain't got no money. Let me take this. Damn. Now you look like wee small, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't look good. But like I said, man, if that man was talking like that and they wanted that black man to shut up, I'm sure they can't correct. This is enough money for a black man to shut up. Here, take this. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Wow, man.
You don't hear him saying nothing. You ain't heard him say nothing.
And another
about
thing, I know
anything.
Colin Kaepernick is not big as Jay-Z, but nobody's talking. Like, people is like praising Colin Kaepernick for standing up and doing something. But now, since he took the bait, we don't hear anybody saying anything about Colin Kaepernick. So, you know,
Right?
on a personal level, he won.
Ooh.
But on a message level, he lost.
Okay, now listen. What if this was part of the deal? Okay, yeah, I'll sign this deal. I won't say nothing about you. I'll take this money that you guys giving me. But you guys are gonna have to clean up this image to where you make it some kind of type of way to where they forget about me. This subject can't be brought up anymore. And you can't tell me that shit can't be done because these media motherfuckers run this shit.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't think that was done because they said that shit happened. Like, he started kneeling in 2016, right? And all that stuff that happened with shit. They talking about Conor McGregor just lost from kicking air.
Damn.
That'll probably be the next one. But nah, the thing is, Colin Kaepernick, like, when all that protest and stuff was going on, you know, I noticed the NBA was having say her name shirts and all this stuff, but it seemed like the NFL wasn't playing that shit at all. They like, hey, y'all going to be Americans and be patriots and shit like that. If not, then fuck it. We don't give a fuck what y'all got to say. So I don't see the NFL making any major changes to address the police brutality or the inequality. If anything, I'm pretty sure the NFL, they probably not even fucking with that whole DEI stuff. So as far as the messaging, I don't think Colin Kaepernick got anything. Well, he made some awareness for the time being, but overall folded under pressure per se, because taking a check, you know, instead of going with your message, that's not necessarily going along with how you truly feel.
Okay, look, you just made me chuckle on what you just said. You said you don't think the NFL is fucking with that DEI shit?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why?
Well, as far as just pushing a whole narrative for, you know, each and every person needs to have a position and shit like that, I don't think that's one of the things I've been seeing, because like I've been seeing the NBA, and like I said, I've noticed that when certain uproar happen, the NBA try to capitulate to what's going on and try to, hey, so what's the solution? I haven't seen the NFL try to do that type of shit. Like, hey, if they don't fuck with the shit, they'll probably don't even speak on the shit, just gloss over it. But I never really seen the NFL. I don't think the dude name is Sandusky, but one of them NFL leaders, that Jerry Jones. I keep hearing that name, Jerry Jones. People do not like that dude, and Jerry Jones isn't bending.
Owner of Dallas Cowboys.
Nobody. Yeah.
Owner of the Dallas Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, prime example, when the NBA found out Donald Sterling was on some racial stuff, they got that nigga the fuck up out of there. Now, Jerry Jones, they've been saying the same thing. He basically been treating his athletes like animals and not really giving a fuck about them personally, just slaving them out so they could just win the game. So
is that why they don't give a fuck about DEI? The reason why the DEI started with black people and affirmative action. It started there. They just gave it this governmental name to make it sound clean. But the reason why the NFL don't mess with that is because the majority of players on there are black. Okay, well, they're not there for the fact that we have to include them, because just imagine if the NFL was just full of white people and there was only just a couple of black people in there, the game would be boring. Okay.
Hey, I just looked it up. It said, yes, the NFL works with DEI and remains firmly committed to the diversity, equity, and inclusion incentives despite border corporate rollbacks.
Yeah, but that ain't got nothing to do with the players that's on the field. That's probably the people in the organizations.
Yeah, like the office and all.
All that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when they come to players, the majority of the players are black. Okay, so I don't see them saying, "Oh, we have to include them because the majority of people on their team is black. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't see that like working in their favor like that. You know what I'm saying? That's obsolete. It's only for, makes relevance of, the management and the organization. You know what I'm saying? Because it's black people that's on the field. You understand what I'm saying? That's my point.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, but you just said that they do, and that's probably only because of the organization and the management and the team itself. How they issue out funds and how they hire people and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's probably only because of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's the big deal about that too, because you asked me before, would you want a black doctor, white doctor, or somebody that knows what the hell they doing? Of course. I don't care what the fuck color that guy is that knows what the hell he doing. Black, white, you guys get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want that guy. Like I said, he could be purple, green, you know what I'm saying? Blue neon and pulsating some neon colors. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter to me. He know what the hell. He's the best one for the job. Black guy, no offense, get the fuck out of here. You too, bye. I want that guy right there. You understand what I'm saying? That's me. Yeah. Fuck all that other shit. You don't go by like, just because, nah, man. Nah.
Hey, matter of fact, salute to Splashy, Oscar Whippet, 33rd State in the building. Hey, 33rd, why your boy sewing and sending me sending me that he's live while I'm live, bro? Like that's kind of
sewing
funny, yeah, man.
It's a conversation I like to have.
Man, yeah.
Well, jump on his live.
Let's get back to it.
He said, I'm the one they can't control. They better be glad it's him. Colin Kaepernick had to sign a non-disparagement. It's like, you the one they can't control, but like you not a wild card. You're not taking the knee. You're not standing up to the black so-called black oppression that was going on that Colin Kaepernick was doing. He was saying he was upset because he was admonished for taking the knee in protest of Black Lives Matter, trying to stick up and spread awareness for the plight of black people in America. And he kind of saying, I guess to be fair, I guess what he's trying to say is that they're calling him a sellout, but Colin Kaepernick actually sold out and he's not allowed to say anything bad about the NFL. Well, you could say that, but then you could also say the fact that Colin Kaepernick got paid a settlement is kind of like he got something out of the NFL. He got something out of that protest that he was doing, but for himself. But again, I guess he's pointing out the hypocrisy of like Colin Kaepernick taking a settlement, but he's not allowed to take a big check from the NFL and say that the whole community is speaking on behalf of the whole community and saying we're past kneeling. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's making sense, if he's set the record straight enough with that bar. But again, it's kind of like it's like I feel like he really felt like he was doing something with this, but it's kind of like
y'all better be glad it's him.
A little bit of silence there, kind of like felt like you was hoping people were like, yeah, fuck Colin, but like people was kind of like, I'm
the one that can control. You better be glad it's him. $500 million back in the community. That's just good math for him.
$500 million back in the community. That's just good math for him. How much money was he going to take out the community with that casino deal that fell through?
I don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and I laugh at them.
You don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and he laughs at them. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that he's really upset and he's really hot under the collar about everybody talking shit about him.
It's really no comparison. Got to check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed to him. You can like it or not. He don't do no ass kissing.
So he says they don't do no ass kissing, right? So,
I don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and I laugh at them. There's really no comparison. Got to check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed to him. You can like it or not. He don't do no ass kissing.
So, he was apparently like, he had a private dinner with the MAGA Republicans, kissing some ass to get Desiree Perez a pardon, but they don't do no ass kissing, bro, and he's not bothered about what's going on Twitter.
Ex-drug dealer, you might not like the packaging, but my presence as the president, my gift is rapping, oh shit!
he had to oh shit on his own bar. That is the most. My presence is a presence. My presence is a present is one of the most played out, lamest, oldest bars. Like, brother.
I don't know. Low key, I think he's kind of hating and stuff. That was a decent bar. My presence is a presence, and my gift is rapping a gift, rapping bars. That's a double entendre. That's kind of dope. So I don't know. Oh yeah, I can't hear you, nigga. You muted.
My bad. No, I was just saying. I'm listening to what he's saying, and it's acapella. It's no beat, and then I'm like, oh, Jay, you probably gonna need a beat. You know what I'm saying with this, because it took me to the battle rap shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how their bars is, and how when they drop their punchlines on bars, and you expect that whole expression from the audience and shit, and I'm like, ooh, it's missing. You know what I'm saying? He could have put something behind there, some cymbals, live cymbals, a little percussion, no bass, and then spit it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, ooh, this ain't sounding good for Jay, because he's sounding like a battle rapper right now. You know what I mean? It's just putting me in that mind and frame because it's acapella. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's probably it don't.
So you saying the bars is missing like that little oomph to it?
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, I heard what he was kicking. I heard a couple of them like, oh, that was hard. You know what I'm saying? Then I heard one, that didn't fall right. You know what I'm saying? It's because battle rappers know how to capture that moment like that when it's acapella. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Maybe needed just a little bit of cymbals, light cymbals in the back, little light percussion. You know what I'm saying? No bass, or just maybe a boom or something.
Basically just
every
like
now and then,
a laid back drum, like a drum.
Yeah, and then no, not even all that cat. You know what I'm saying? Just lightly, so people can still hear them because it's an acapella. You know what I'm saying? And I think it sounded like, ooh, as soon as he started going and then he started falling off, I'm like, oh man. I was like, damn, what if it was another battle rapper on the other side? You know what I'm saying? He about to tear his ass apart. That's how it sounded to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I miss them days. I need to go back to that old shit. I used to love that shit right there, boy. That shit fell off too, but that's another subject.
Low key, yeah. All right, let's go.
Man, my gift is rapping. Oh, she had to hit the oh shit for himself. Come on, man. We're not pulling our own oh shits. So look, I want to give you just a little bit of backstory on the Colin Kaepernick thing, because it's just like I feel like that's probably the most important thing about this whole thing, this whole show. And
really,
arguably he kind of in some ways he makes a good point, but he does completely deflect the criticism of himself. He's saying he is sellout, he's done sold out the shows, he sold out, but it's like, rather than being like, I'm not a sellout, it's like, yeah, I'm a sellout, so is Colin Kaepernick, sold out in the end anyway. So let me give you a little bit of backstory just so you know like how this whole Colin Kaepernick thing kind of started.
Oh, where the money at? Let's hear that.
For what just happened. Dance 2.0 just dropped.
Let's hear about the money.
Interesting.
Right. He's making a good point,
Rich,
though.
just over my shoulder, Colin Kaepernick is warming up with his teammates on the field, but a little bit later tonight, about 100 feet to my right on the sideline, he's expected to kneel once again and protest to what he says are social injustices to African Americans. And just more than a month ago, when he started this, he sat alone. That is no longer the case.
Oh, say, can you see?
The lyrics of the national anthem rang out in Levi Stadium for what, so we thought, was a meaningless preseason game. But what went mostly unnoticed at the time surely is anything but meaningless now.
It's to bring awareness and make people realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change.
In the effort to stand for what he believed in, his action to sit was later lifted to taking a knee. As 5 weeks had passed, each day offering a new voice, a new form of support, another point of conflict.
You got to respect the flag. It's bigger than just you.
The reason these guys are kneeling, the reason we're locking arms is to bring people together, to make people aware that this is not right.
Colin Kaepernick's protest to evoke attention to social injustices has spurred reaction and action unlike any we've seen in recent decades. Here we are, in the midst of a social movement where a quarterback, once known for flexing his biceps to celebrate a touchdown, now sits as a backup and kneels for what he believes in.
When there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand.
So he tried to turn the whole NFL into a kind of court for his activism, right? Now, I really, honestly, at this point, it's been enough time since the BLM movement, and some of it has worked out, some of it has ended up being a bit of a grift. A lot of people made money off the back of the BLM movement. I personally am just observing what's going on. Okay, this was 9 years ago, and since then, Jay-Z made it clear we're past kneeling. All right, you guys let me know if we were past kneeling when Jay-Z said that, but. Basically, okay, the NFL said, yeah, you can shut the hell up, all right? This ain't no activism. This is sports, all right? This is a big business, okay? This ain't no political statement. We ain't trying to draft Malcolm X, none of that, all right? Let's skip that shit. And so basically, the NFL kind of turned their back on Colin Kaepernick. And so, by the time we got to 2019, this is all going off in 2016.
Hey, so quick question. Trap Lord Ross is basically stating that, Colin Kaepernick try to, for lack of a better term, wake up the NFL. And I'm not going to lie, during that time when everybody was locked in their house and stuff like that, and me watching the playoffs and the bubble and every other commercial, hey, did you know this was the first black guy to tie his shoe and all this other stuff? It kind of annoyed me to the point to where it's like, God damn, bro, I just want to watch the basketball game. I don't want to see this shit because the way that y'all doing it come across as if you're forced to do it. And that's the same thing like you dealing with somebody and be like, hey, man, you don't call me when this and that. And then they overcompensate by calling you all the time. Hey, I'll just making sure this. I'll just making sure that. It's like, bro, just make sure it's natural. And I feel like they was overdoing this shit.
Like you just said, make sure it's natural.
Yeah.
And with them doing that, you seeing it like, oh, they got a guilty conscience. You understand what I'm saying now?
It came across inauthentic, bro.
Right. It's like if it's like that and you felt that way, then maybe they have a guilty conscience. You know what I'm saying? We came up off of black people. Now, I forgot to mention the part with George Floyd and the protest that was going on for Colin Kaepernick to make that stand. He made that stand. But see, he didn't just make that stand right there just for that. It was part of that, but it was what he been going through all of his life as an athlete from 12 up to on. This is what he was seeing. Yeah. You haven't seen this story on I don't know, I guess it's a documentary story, Netflix. Check it out, dude. Check it out. It's very interesting, dude. Very interesting.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I get that. That's why I get why he did that. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And I don't know if he did it in the wrong fashion, but he sure did get a lot of people attention on it. How about that?
Yeah, I'll say that. If the as much controversy that it sparked, that's what I'm saying. It did raise. I'll just be honest. It raised people awareness, but I don't think it changed anything.
Right.
Because we
I
still
get
got
that.
the same bullshit
Hell.
going on to this day. So it's like he was a martyr for a situation, but what was the end result? It's like a war going on, and we had this one person falling on top of a grenade to save a couple of people. But meanwhile, there's still a war, and other 1,500 other people just got laid down by artillery rounds and all this other shit. So it's like what he did was justified. It does have a purpose, but at the end of the day, I don't think it necessarily moved anything, or maybe it could have, an effect 10, 15 years from now to where it might come back again, and then we can kind of revisit on Colin Kaepernick, because certain people, as they say, certain people did, Rosa Parks did certain things so people walk so other people can run, so I don't see the immediate effect of it, but who knows down the line what he did might help somebody else. It might have gave somebody the blueprint to, all right, this is what I'm not going to do, to where I'm going to do the same thing, but just not exactly everything that Colin Kaepernick did, because some might look at his whole goal as a failure, because if you're selling out and taking money, then you're not really for the cause of what's happening, so it's kind of, I don't know, man. Shit, anything on that before we go?
That part of the Colin Kaepernick, NFL. There's a lot of people that love the NFL. I had to stop watching it because it done got watered down. As soon as it got watered down, I'm like, I'm out of here. But there's still a lot of NFL fans out there. A lot of white NFL fans out there. There's a portion of those white NFL fans out there who are racist. And their team that they root for has black people on them. That weirds me out right there, dude.
Yeah.
That weirds me out. I don't understand that part right there, bro. I really don't get it. I don't know. Ain't enough for me to figure out, I guess. I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying earlier, like, NFL, NBA, track. What if there was no black people in track, NFL, or NBA? How would the game look? How much money would those teams be making?
Definitely would be a decrease.
Yeah, there's no excitement. There's no alpha. You feel me? There's no alpha in the sport. It won't be. It wouldn't be. The reason why, I'm that shit. Fuck that. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, the reason why we so goddamn good in these sports, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had us up in there working in them fields, picking cotton, tending to the fields, sweating. Built us up. The DNA got passed on down. A couple of us to say, hey, this is how you gonna handle this part of your physicality. Like this. Go take it out. Since you so mad, go run into that damn shoulder. Take your shoulder pad and run into that. Knock it backwards. Do that. Let's train to get bigger and faster. It was you guys' fault. Don't be mad. Now, we done took over all sports. I'm sorry, man. It was revealed in 1941. What year? 1940? Wasn't in the 40s. Jesse Owens impressed the most racist man on the planet. And I heard he treated him better than the white people did in America, which is fucking funny. To be the most racist man on the planet. He was. I guess he was impressed.
I thought they said he pissed them off because he beat them.
I heard that too. But I also heard that I think he met him, or I don't know if he met him or the people that was German treating him with more respect than white Americans would treat him.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. You know
That
what I'm
don't sound
saying?
too far-fetched. I think I possibly heard something similar to that.
So at that point I'm making right there is just like Jesse Owens come from that cut. If you don't know why that nigga was the fastest, think about it. Think about it. Why that nigga was the fastest. You know what I'm saying? The first world record breaker. You know what I'm saying? And held it down for the longest. And who holds the fastest man in the world right now? I don't want to ask if he was black, white, Chinese, Mexican, France, European, Russian, Chinese. I don't have to ask that question. You guys already know. Okay? So.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while, too.
It's always going to be like that. Hate to say it. They know it, too.
Yikes.
He was basically unsigned. No team wanted to work with him. He became persona non grata in the NFL. And, he filed grievances against the NFL, accusing the league of colluding to keep him out because nobody wanted to be associated with his activism. And, that's where we got to the point where they started,
they ran from him.
saying, well, how can we get the black community on side? Let's have Jay-Z being responsible for the programming and the Super Bowl programming and such. And basically, like, Jay-Z popped up and said we passed kneeling, and everyone just forgot about Colin Kaepernick.
Introducing clip B. Whatever you can picture, you can.
Yeah, man, it's pretty deep.
Yeah, like I said, it sounded like they ran from him.
Low key.
Fast forward to March of 2017. Kaepernick decides he's going to opt out of his contract with the 49ers and test out free agency. After all, a 7-year vet who's been to the Super Bowl and just threw 16 TD passes has to have some suitors, right? Nick Foles, EJ Manuel, Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Mike
they
Glennon,
ran from
all ink deals in free agency, while Kaepernick still doesn't have a job. The word blackballed begins to trend online. In June, the Seahawks invited a few quarterbacks, including Kaepernick, to a workout, and in the end, signed Austin Davis? NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell continues to say NFL teams are making, quote, football decisions. September of 2017. Enter Donald Trump. In a series of tweets and this comment at a rally in Alabama.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say,
you
get that
motherfucker.
son of a bitch off the field right
Oh,
now.
wow. See, now that was very disrespectful.
Now, you remember how Jay-Z always talk about how he beefing with MAGA Republicans, but in this one, they clicked up.
Fired! Trump makes his opinions on the protests pretty clear. The number of players who immediately joined Kaepernick's protest goes through the roof. But his job
Nigga
offers
called his mama a
do
bitch.
not. October 15th, 2017. Kaepernick files a collusion grievance suit against the NFL, saying he hasn't been signed because of his protests. Players around the league continue protesting, and in May of 2018, the league announces a new policy. In short, you can stay in the dressing room during the anthem, but if you come to the field, you have to stand. It takes less than 2 weeks for the NFLPA to challenge this policy, and both sides agree to put it aside, at least for now. Finally, August 31st, an arbitrator denies the NFL's request to dismiss Kaepernick's case, saying there's enough evidence to send the case to a full hearing.
So obviously he got a little promotional marketing deal, got a Nike deal out of this and all that kind of thing. But here's the problem, okay? Jay-Z stepped in, and he'd previously been vocal about how the NFL treated Colin Kaepernick. But in 2019, he signed a partnership with the league. He joined in, all right? He clicked up with the NFL.
It's the NFL's newest team, business and music mogul Jay-Z partnering with Commissioner Roger Goodell in the league. The unlikely alliance seems like a Hail Mary after the rapper publicly bashed the NFL over its handling of the Colin Kaepernick controversy.
I guess my speaking out brought about a conversation, which brought about a conversation which led to a partnership.
At a press conference today recorded only by the NFL, Jay-Z was asked about partnering with the league while Kaepernick is still out of a job. The musician defending the move, saying the two have spoken. Tonight, the former quarterback tweeting, "I continue to work and stand with the people in our fight for liberation, despite those who are trying to erase the movement." Jay-Z's company, Rock
All right, I don't want to get sued for this
Nation,
music.
now advising the league on entertainment, including the Super Bowl halftime show and consult.
I'm sorry, but is it a conspiracy that like the moment they showed the Rock Nation logo, they played copyright music under it? Like, oh, that's smart.
Some campaign inspire change. After supporting Kaepernick for taking a knee to protest racial injustice and police brutality, the entrepreneur is now being criticized for trying to capitalize on partnering with the NFL. Eric Reed, who kneeled beside Kaepernick, called the move disingenuous.
I think we have the greatest platform in the world, and we're using it in a very positive way.
Tonight, a foe turned friend of the league, trying to clean up the NFL's bad rap with community activism. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fan.
So this is kind of like Jay-Z famously said, "We're past kneeling." Okay, he famously said that was kind of like the infamous line. All right, he basically said, "We passed it. We passed kneeling. We done it. All right, we over this."
Okay, I think we passed kneeling. I think it's time to go into actionable items. I think everyone knows what the issue is, and we're done with that. Everyone knows what
done with that shit.
You know what the issue is? You know why we were kneeling? Okay, do you know the issue? Yeah, do you know the issue? Yes, we all know the issue now. Okay, next. Where are we moving on next? And I'm not, again, so.
Where are we moving on next? That check. That Sean, sign that check, baby. That's what we're moving on to next. We got it.
To be clear, for the room, I'm not minimizing that part of it because that has to happen. That's a necessary part of the process. But now we all know what's going on. What are we going to do? How are we going to stop? Because the kneeling was not about a job. It was about injustice. Let me bring attention to injustice. Everyone's saying, how are you going forward? And Cap doesn't have a job. This wasn't about him having a job.
It's one about him having a job. He still ain't got a job, right? Okay, he could be flipping the burgers at Denny's for all I know. But basically, okay, Jay-Z would basically address his Target sponsorship in the freestyle. Obviously, he talks about that. He a Target, who you boycott. You're not boycotting Meta. You're not boycotting YouTube owned by Google. You're not boycott. No, because the ongoing boycott was against Target and it was all about black consumers, right? So this was kind of another, we beyond kneeling, we beyond boycotting too, man. Just get the album, bro. And then they backtrack on the exclusive as well, which is hilarious. Okay, so this is Jay-Z's partnership with Target sparked a debate with black consumers. Some online are criticizing the hip-hop billionaire for partnering with Target.
Come again, sir?
I said, that shit don't work anyway. I said, some of it do. Just some.
What you saying? The boycotting and protesting or what?
Yeah. Yeah. They not listening like that. You know what I'm saying? They see it as agitators. So, you know, the protesting was MLK, all about the protesting, injustice. You know what I'm saying? Nonviolent. This is America. Have freedom of speech. Speak your injustice. Then you got the other guy, the redhead with the glasses, Malcolm X. And he's like, no, we doing this. We gonna go like this. And if they don't like it, this is what we gonna do. Because it's starting to become that. Ain't nobody listening to that protesting or boycotting. Ain't nobody listening to that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the bully thumping the little kid in the head every day. Bing! Bing every day. You get thumped in the head. Till that kid grows up and says, man, I'm tired of this nonviolent shit. And then when that dude try to thump him, he gonna sock the shit out of his ass. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them moments. Hate to say it, man. I hate to say it.
Like, what do you think is different from the protesting back in the day to the protesting now? Like, when I think of protests back in the day, yes, the results were kind of more violent with water hoses and dogs attacking. But when they boycotted the buses, people really stood on that shit and people felt the effect of that happening. So, like, what's the difference between the protesting back then to now where we got social media?
Because back then the violence was happening to us. And the ones that's doing the protesting now is expressing the violence.
I'm not gonna lie, like I've seen some protesters get fucked up with them rubber bullets and stuff. So
I've seen protesters get killed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like the violence is it and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people will call some of these protests actual protests, but the sad part about it, just like when everybody was locked up in the house, like the first couple of weeks when people started going off, you seen niggas running up in stores stealing shoes. Like, what the fuck that had to do with what's going on with the whole Floyd situation?
Yeah.
You know, and then niggas that was going in there stealing the shoes, when they came out the store, bop, 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 they get knocked out, and then the stuff that they were stolen gets stolen from them. So it was just a bunch of chaos. And I think a lot of people was participating in the bullshit, not knowing what they participating for. They just saw people getting free shit, so they just wanted to join along with it. So
right.
But overall, at the end of the day, well, you know what? Maybe that's the reason why. Because overall, at the end of the day, a lot of the conglomerates that's not trying to hear that shit, they just want to say all of that stuff is riots. Not saying that everybody went down there for a riot, but you do have some ignorant motherfuckers that's in that group, and they make it look bad for everybody else. Like prime example, when they was breaking windows and tagging on buildings, I seen a race of a particular color that wasn't black. But who would get the root? I mean, who would get the blame for that? You already know who it is. So, you know, my question is, how come the protesting nowadays isn't as effective as before? And maybe there's too much division going on that everybody isn't on the same. Sometimes people looking at what they can personally gain from it, and then sometimes you got people that's looking at it from a whole collective of what's going on.
Yeah. Right. It's I don't see no good in protesting anymore because they not listening. That's what I gotta say. They not listening. They don't care. They don't care. They see people as agitators that's out there doing that. And I can understand why, because I heard some personal, shit. Motherfuckers was like, hey, about to get out there and go. I'm like, why? And you never know. I know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Same thing when the 92 riots popped off. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. The riots popped off, the Rodney King riots is, they was going hard. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying
community.
I'm not trying to be a participant of all that and none of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, man. Handle your business, bro. Like, shit. I'm good. Pretty much.
Hey, shout out to Brian. Shout out to Coco Goddess. What's the word?
What up? Yeah, hey. I know we about to end the show real quick, but I got a special treat for you. My daughter, she made a picture of you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I'm serious. I got it right here. I gotta show it to the audience. You guys gotta see this. This is funny. Here we go.
Hey, salute the little mama, man, for sure.
My baby Skyler, she was like, make sure he sees it. I want him to see
Skyler,
it.
Man.
Look.
Hey, I'm gonna need that, man.
Hey, look how she spelled your name.
Wait, what? Hey, I love it though. I love it. Hey,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Shout out to little mama Skyler, man. Hey, I'm gonna need that, bro, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but back to that. I disagree with you just for the fact that I believe the protesting is necessary, but how it's being handled and conducted, that's the stupid shit that I don't like. When we out there protesting, we don't need niggas doing donuts in their cars. We don't need niggas like recently we saw them protesting down the street for the immigration and ICE stuff, right? And it was messing up the federal building and everything. That's giving a black eye to what's supposed to be done. So,
right,
you know, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but low key, I disagree. I think it has a purpose, but just the way, I guess back then there was more organization, there's more pride. Like if you had the Black Panthers doing something, they knew if you got out of line doing some fuck shit, they'll handle you. You'll be excommunicated out of the group, and you won't be able to participate in what's going on. So maybe we need more leadership and structure with what's going on, to where, like, instead of having the Pastor Jamal Bryants being the leaders of these different boycotts and everything, we need some actual activists that's really about what they're talking about and making sure, because some of these people that's out there, they think, oh, well, we ain't get our reparations, so we're gonna get it by stealing from this store. And like, that's not gonna fix whatever that we talking about. You feel me? Like stealing from them just to get your own little personal shit ain't working, because you're just one person that's getting fixed out of this whole situation where thousands need to be fixed. Like, prime example, I've heard recently that they said that a lot of this money in California that was set aside for the homeless people and everything, for the people that lost their houses in the fires, the Pacific Palisades fires, they said that they put that money towards the cops downtown. So that just shows you that they're getting funds and they're misappropriating it for some bullshit. People still haven't gotten to their homes yet, but you have enough money to make sure these cops get paid overtime for some immigration shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a part of the problem also. But just once again, I do believe that that it's necessary. Just the way that it's happening is kind of ass backwards. Brian said, I remember the 92 riots, a newscaster asked were they stealing? The guy said, because it, or why they stealing? And the guy said, because it's free. Brian said, I guess the picture, I look like Cartman in that picture. Oh, damn, bro. But yeah, the thing is, like, people are really enamored by the low-hanging fruit, and the craziest part about it is a lot of the people don't even know what the fuck. Like, oh yeah, I'm over here because of Rodney King. Nah, nigga, it's George Floyd. You feel me? So they just out there doing what they want to do, and we need some type of structure and discipline, and that goes along with the black leadership of today. We really don't have no Malcolm X's and no Martin Luther King that's out there that's preaching a positive message for youth to follow behind. You know, we got quote unquote pastors that you know be twerking in church and all this crazy shit, that they be having the voice of the community. So that definitely needs to change, bro. This video, we got like 10 more minutes, bro. Then we're gonna be done with it. All right, bet.
The release of the 30th anniversary edition of Reasonable Doubt, a new business partnership by the hip-hop mogul Sean J. Carter, has sparked outrage online. Complex reported Target is releasing an exclusive anniversary edition of his 1996 album. But wait a minute, I thought it wasn't exclusive. And once the backlash started, it stopped being exclusive. We backtracked and said it, but they were exclusive. They're doing the same shit as Apple and Walmart, except not true. All right, it was exclusive for a bit until the backlash. So it had a commemorative packaging, a unique vinyl color variant, previously unreleased versions of special tracks, select tracks, basically had an extra track on there. It's been a very elusive track. Fans have been trying to get their hands on for years, a remix, famous remix, shit. And they gave that to Target as exclusive. And then Jay-Z backtracked, talking about, oh, I'm a Target, boycott this, boycott that. All right. Says, while some fans welcome the special 30th anniversary collector's release, others question Jay-Z's decision to partner with the retail giant, which has faced lingering backlash and an ongoing boycott. Pastor Jamal Bryant and other black social justice and religious leaders called on the black community to stop shopping at Target after the retailer rolled back several diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The popular Instagram platform Essence of Black Culture accused Jay-Z of allowing his brand to be manipulated in a way that undermines efforts to hold corporations accountable. But we passed kneeling and we passed boycotts. Just get the vinyl. With the success the black community had boycotting them, he made himself available to be used directly to smack the community in the face. Basically, it seems like when the black community is outraged and trying to actually mobilize and create some action, these billion-dollar corporate overlords, they draft in Jay-Z to just kind of like muddy the waters. That's what's being alleged, okay? I want to make this post because a lot of the community slobber on meat when it comes to celebrities, but there's no reason Jay-Z should be exclusively partnering with Target to release his album. It can only be purchased through them. With the success the black community had boycotting them, he made himself available. He used directly to smack the community in the face. And y'all ain't gonna do shit about it either, like y'all never do. This is the same person you defended. People were planning the biggest NFL boycott because what they did to Colin Kaepernick. He partnered with them. They all just said, well, just what Jay-Z's smart. He's gonna work from the inside to get Cap back. All he did was work to get diverse halftime performers and his money up. He put Kendrick on there to rub it in Drake's face, right? The figures up. And the only cap that he got is capping about getting Cap back. It was a double cap. He had multiple caps. He had all types of caps, like Lil Jeff. So the blog also pointed to Carter's controversial decision to partner with the NFL in 2019. You already know that, right? Exclusive. It was a Target exclusive, all right? They trying to pull the wool over your eyes. It was a Target exclusive all along. Let's not forget, it is a Target exclusive. Some people have defended him, saying this is a normal part. Exclusive retail partnerships have been a standard part of the music industry. While his wife Beyonce has donated and supported causes to empower the black community. Others pointed to Carter's unapologetic stance as a capitalist and argued the deal should be viewed as a it's all strategic with Jay-Z, okay? But he has actually a long-running plan. This isn't an accident. This is programming. This is the plan. The first time that Jay-Z pulled this genius move, and he has done this time and time again in his career, is when in 2006 he spearheaded a boycott against Cristal champagne. He said they're racist. We got to stop drinking Cristal. Oh, what should we buy then, Jay-Z? My drink. My drink. My drink.
Hey, Brian said riots are supposed to bring attention to negative action, but riots with our peeps are only bringing attention to our collective slave mentality and negative stereotypes and uncivilized behavior by people that civilly bestowed upon them.
Great point. Great point right there.
Says, hey, if you don't want me, I don't want you. He's organizing a hip-hop boycott of Cristal champagne. It has become a very popular drink among the hip-hop set, often shown off at music parties or on MTV Cribs. The managing director of Cristal recently started controversy. He suggested that all these shout-outs for his product might actually be hurting the overall brand image.
So Jay-Z said, boycott, man. We need to take the knee on Cristal. Okay. What should we buy instead? Only a few months later, he dropped "Show Me What You Got," and what he had was Ace of Spades. He said, listen, if you ain't drinking Ace of Spades, then you a bitch.
Just goes to show how you can leverage your fame beyond just the music.
Not with Diddy.
About a decade ago, the economy.
Who did he do it?
Beyond just the music.
Jay-Z who? Oh, okay.
About a decade ago, the Economist interviewed the director of the company that makes Cristal champagne. Expensive champagnes in the world, favored by Russian czars over history. He was asked,
"Hey, check your mic, bro."
All these rappers drinking Cristal champagne, and he basically said, "Well, we can't forbid people from buying it." And not exactly a ringing endorsement of a new customer base. He thought that rappers didn't read the Economist.
Shooting fireworks again.
He moved it from his 40/40 club, and more importantly, he started issuing this sort of directive to his fans not to drink it either. And instead of rapping about Cristal, he put his money where his mouth was. He ended up investing in and eventually taking over a French champagne brand called Armand de Brignac, aka Ace of Spades. You see this in his videos, the gold bottles, he raps about it all the time. And this has now become one of his most valuable assets in his entire portfolio.
Ace of Spades, eh? Ace of Spades, the Ace of Spades. And what happened? He eventually sold it on to a corporate overlord for a report $600 million. It was never about the boycott. It was never about the racism. It was about the Benjamins. No crumb.
Everybody, this morning, Moet Hennessy announcing that it's going to be acquiring a 50% stake in a luxury champagne brand, Armand de Brignac. It's also known as Ace of Spades. The brand was popularized and created by Grammy-winning artist and businessman Jay-Z, who owns it and will retain a 50% ownership stake alongside Moet. Joining us right now with more on this deal is music mogul and entrepreneur Sean Jay-Z Carter and Philippe Schaus, who is the CEO of Moet Hennessy, the wines and spirits arms of LVMH. And gentlemen, welcome to both of you this morning. It's really great to see you on the news of this deal.
Michelle Coco.
I was hoping we could start with you. Good morning, both of you. Jay-Z, I was hoping we could start with you because I know that you are incredibly particular about how you do things. You've talked about this with Tidal. You don't do things the easy way. You do things the way you think are going to have the best results. So why Moet?
Yeah, they just was aligned in our thinking and thoughts and, the way they care about products and creating products. When we built Armand from the ground up, we want to do things right. The integrity of it had to be right. The soil, of course, it had to be in Champagne because it can't be called Champagne unless it's from the region. When
he put so much thought into it, it was making sure it was at least called Champagne.
We build luxury products, whether it be, from Rock Nation to Monogram to whatever we build in luxury products. And Moet Hennessy goes about it the same way. So we were aligned in our thoughts of integrity and passion for the things that we build. And, when I met, I started with Alexander, we had conversations, and then Bernard and they came to my house to have lunch in Los Angeles, my Los Angeles home, and maybe October of 2019. And, those conversations, escalated pretty quickly. I see these guys were men of their words. They say they're going to call you Thursday. It's Thursday. It just started out in a place of respect, and it built from there. It built pretty quickly.
I'm not going to lie. He said a whole bunch of nothing, right? He is basically talking about some white billionaires that he sold the business to for millions, okay? And he basically capitalized on the boycott. I'm not in a disagreement. The way Crystal spoke about their black audience wasn't cool, all right? But it's like Jay-Z was very smart to basically say, I'm going to grab this outrage, I'm going to point it towards something that basically enriches me personally in a big way. And, it stopped being a black-owned business. He went into business with them billionaire white folks, right? And look, more power to him, all right? But the idea of him running around being an activist, all right, is just not accurate, okay? So when he hops on that stage talking about, oh yeah, Colin Kaepernick, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, he had to sign a non-disparagement, everyone bringing up Cap again, all right? When everyone was outraged about the racism from Crystal, you built up your own brand and you sold it to this guy, okay? You sold it to, you went into business with this guy.
Yo, now that I'm hearing this, Jay-Z saw that how Crystal was talking about black people, so he did it on his own to actually sell Ace of Spades. Colin Kaepernick was talking about the injustice of what's going on. When the NFL basically told him to shut up, he took the money. So what's the difference between a Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick at the end of the day? Like, they both seem to have this message of being like righteous people. Not saying that they're wrong, but they're speaking on a particular, they're being disgruntled about something. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, both of them personally benefited from the problems that they see that's going on.
Yeah. That shit right there, I don't know if you can consider that a difference, or because you say right there, like, Chris Sal was beefing on how this shit is being represented, and he turned that shit into a marketing scheme. You understand what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. As soon as that shit happened, he was like, okay, you want to do that? Well, I'm going to show you guys what the deal you should have took. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about to go over here. He turned that into a marketing scheme. That's capitalism. You know what I'm saying? That's being a businessman at the same time. And when you think about it, you motherfuckers saying, yo, is he a sellout? Hell, it don't sound like you're a sellout. You sound like you're handling business. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? That man got too much money for me to even think about if he's a sellout or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's obsolete to the point. This motherfucker's in a whole different level in the ball game. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you say, if they have anything in common on that right there, huh?
I'm saying, like, what's the difference between Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z?
So, okay, when you say that, meaning Jay-Z's a sellout, Colin Kaepernick's a sellout. Colin Kaepernick's a sellout because there's an undisclosure of money that was given to him to shut the fuck up about Jay-Z in the NFL, and then Jay-Z took an opportunity. There's a difference there.
Take out the word sellout and replace it with capitalist, because Colin Kaepernick capitalized off of the climate of what was going on, and Jay-Z capitalized off the climate of what was going on.
So by him capitalizing, does that set the terms to what he truly believed in from the amount of money? Because if you believe in, I'm talking about Colin Kaepernick, like I said, they gave him money to shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah, and I want you to finish what you're saying, but remember, Colin Kaepernick said out his own mouth, his reason for speaking on this is because he want change to happen. He got paid and no change happened.
My point. So this is very simple to answer. Colin Kaepernick got paid an undisclosed amount of money for him to shut up about the NFL and Jay-Z. Sold out. Next case, Jay-Z took an opportunity from, not just Target. I mean, the Freestyle thing went on and boom. That's the way you want to do it? I'm helping you guys get your marketing going. I'm helping you out for free. You don't want to help me out? Cool. You want to say this about me and my people? Cool. I'm going to move on. Let's go over here. Now, let's make the deal happen. And the deal happens and it pops off. It's all good. Freestyle looking like, God damn, we fucked up. That's a business move. There's no selling out right there. I don't see no selling out right there on that point. On that point. Now, the point of him on the Target thing. Yeah. I mean, the video that they put up, Traveler Ross put up with him saying, okay, yeah, we got the subject. We know what's going on with what you're saying, what's going on. We need to move on. Yes, that's true. That's so true right there. It's like you can't stay right there at that point because you'll never go further. So he's right about that. You know what I'm saying?
So what you saying? You saying that Jay-Z is not being insensitive to what was going on by saying we're past kneeling?
I ain't gonna say it like that. I ain't gonna say insensitive. Nah, I ain't gonna say insensitive.
When people hear that, they will say like, "Oh, see, you don't care about what's going on because you're just worried about your money."
Nah, he's making a point because he's right. He's right when he said we need to move on. You know what I'm saying? We have to. You can't forget. Don't never forget. You know what I'm saying? But you can move on because that's what life's all about. It's just like when you have a past one. You know what I'm saying? That you care so much about and they pass. You know that you have to continue living, continue going to work, and handle your business to survive. You can't stay there and mourn like that because that person will probably want you to move on anyway. Same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't don't stay in one position and think you're gonna keep going further. It's logic. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part. You know, you got to move on, right? But that don't mean we got to forget. You know what I'm saying? So I get that point right there. Him saying we need to move on. Let's go. Yeah, let's do this. If you know, the Target thing was, like you said, maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know. I mean, I personally don't come to shit like that. Like, nah, you know, I'm not hip like that when it comes like, oh yeah, you ain't supposed to shop at Target. Like, hey man, I don't shop at Target anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it don't make me know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with my girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you want to talk to her about that shit. She gonna cuss your ass out. But but I'm just saying, like, you know, I ain't hip to all that type of shit, but this right here, like, man, it's business, man. I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
You did say that. Hey, Brian said Jay-Z sound like a double talking shill for a corporation. He also said one took a knee and one took a market share. And then this fool said, I shot that Tarjay. Man. Then he said, sorry, I'm sniffing that CH Pure Cane.
Oh man.
Yeah, you having one of those nights, man. But yeah, this whole situation is kind of crazy, man. Overall, I wouldn't call Jay-Z a sellout in these particular situations. I think he's like you said earlier with the lyrics. I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. So
yeah,
he's looking at what he can make off of the whole situation. And my question or my statement is, no, my question is, how many of us are capitalists? Not saying that we have to go, see somebody laying in the street and we pulling out a camera and recording it. But when there's a void in the market, how many of us look for solutions to fix it and fix that void to where we get paid from it? Everybody's on social media. You have a population of people that's on social media that don't get paid for it, but a lot of people that's on social media, they're doing it to get monetized and get money from it. We're talking about stuff to where we're going to be getting money from the topics that we talk about. So the thing is I think America is a place where capitalists run wild. Some people are very they don't care what they exploit. But I don't think you have to if you're a capitalist, do that mean that you're always exploiting something? Because the exploitation that definitely don't have a good word behind it.
No,
you don't think so?
They're not necessarily.
Because when I think about it, you have two types of news. You have the tabloids that talk about, hey, Michael Jackson got 15 baby mamas, which is like some lying shit. And then you have the real news of, hey, Michael Jackson's not here no more. So, two companies are news companies, but one is spreading false bullshit and the other one try to stay true to whatever's going on. So I wouldn't say that people are exploiting everything. So it's just like, it depends on the person that's creating the content and everything. And I guess I wouldn't say that it's not wrong to be a capitalist. Like, people look at that in a bad fashion, but you could be actually filling a void for something that actually is in need. Like, let's say Dr. Umar Johnson. There isn't a school that's predominantly dedicated for Black young males. So he figured out, hey, let me try to start that. Now, whatever's going on with how it's coming about being built, that's a whole nother topic. But the whole idea of what he was saying was something that needed to be done, so he figured he'd try to fill that market. Last thing, Brian says, small-minded capitalists, but for the short term, true capitalism is for the long-term benefit for you and your family. So what you got to say about this, Corny, as we wrap it up, bro?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to capitalism and if everybody's capitalized off this, hey, man, this is part of our American economic system. This is who we are. This is what we are as a people. Honestly, bro, this is what we are. We capitalize on shit. We find a void, like you said, that empty space, and we jump in there and take advantage of it where nobody's there. And we capitalize off of the market. Others gain from us from what we did. I'm just saying, in that scenario. You know what I mean? But everyone, consider yourself a capitalist. Especially if you got money to play with when it comes to investing or starting businesses, small businesses, or just major corporations. That's what the game is all about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why Jay-Z is in the positions he's at now, because of what he learned throughout the years. He's like, oh man, this small change. I'm about to get on here with these big dogs over here. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z voice. But he over there rubbing shoulders with these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's up? And they love him because he hip hop, he cool, he hip. Hey, honey, I was kicking it with Jay-Z tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, honey, I love you. You're so cool. Whatever. But it's just that, you know, it's what it is. That's what America's all about. Sorry to say. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, you're not lying. And some people would use another word for it. They say, oh, you got to create your own lane. Being in your own lane, that, you know, that's just basically the same way of finding what you're good at, finding where there's a need for something and you filling that and you providing that. So, you know,
that part.
Brian said communism, capitalism. Yeah, that like
big difference.
Yeah, I'm about to say communism. I think that's like a total difference than capitalism.
I ain't down with none of that. Nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Hey, Brian said, "OG, why did your Jay-Z sound like Huggy Bear?"
Oh shit! You're probably right.
Man.
I ain't got no East Coast accent, so.
But yeah, man. Hey, we went over our time, but there's definitely a dope discussion that we had. Salute to all the people that's in the chat, man. You know, Brian, Coco Goddess, 33rd State popped up in here. Oscar, Monkey Bot. There's a lot of people. If I didn't mention your name, my bad on that. But hey, we go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you know what I'm saying? Be there or be square. And y'all make sure y'all spread the word, man. We need to get more in the algorithm. This was a good show tonight, and we got more to come. So, hey, we about to be out. So, peace.
Yo, you now rocking with classic music. Now, what I want you to do is hit that like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Yeah, let's get it.